difficult phase. Okay, now there is no difficult phase as such. Is that only little bit is there? Little bit is there in the substantive procedures that we will see. That is not a big issue. Okay, that is not a big issue. Internal audit, easy scoring marks. Okay, easy scoring marks around 6 to 8 marks. Is that easy scoring marks? Fine, it's not difficult. Now what we are doing, we will talk about definitely internal audit is one of the element of one of the concept, one of the pillar of corporate governance. Nowadays internal audit is part of every organization. It is listed company, you should have internal audit department, internal auditor. Distinction between difference between internal audit and external audit. Usually they will ask you for 3 marks. Okay, usually they will ask you for 3 marks, 3 differences. Okay, what internal auditor will do, what external auditor will do. External audit, and what is the what are the scope, what internal auditors will do. Is it? Now apart from that, what are their assignments are there? Focus completely on internal audit. In what are the internal audit reports, and most importantly, what is the advantages and disadvantages of outsourcing. Is it? What is the advantages of and disadvantages? See, most of the companies, smaller companies, is it right? See, when you have internal audit department, there are some advantages and some disadvantages. People want more specialized skills for internal auditor. So what they will say, that it is better to outsource it. And now most of the audit companies in Oman also, they are doing they are providing internal audit services. Okay, by the end of this lecture you are having a complete understanding about this. What if you go in detail, I have not eliminated, not deleted any slides, but the copy which I have sent to you and the copy which is here is only that number of slides has been increased. If you want me, I will send you a copy of the same copy, or anyhow I am sending you the PDF. Okay, in that you will have more slides, in this you will have less slides. So don't get panicked that something has been missing. Nothing is missing. I am not deleted even a single word I have not deleted. Okay, now when you are doing the things, discuss the factors, take into account assessing what is the need of internal auditor. We are exclusively focusing on internal audit, exclusively. Okay, what are the elements, what is the best practices, okay, of the structure. Because internal audit, see, if internal audit is effective, the job of the external auditor will be more easy, and the external auditor can focus on those areas where internal audit work has not been done. Fine, internal audit has been. The structure and operation of who will appoint internal auditor, who will report, internal auditor report to whom. Internal auditor report directly to the board of directors. Means even CEO will not be under the preview of internal auditor. Is it? When you are talking about a internal auditor, you will have the CEO, you will have the board. Okay, even the internal auditor will directly report to the board. Means even the CEO will be under the scrutiny of internal auditor. Okay, understand this. My explanation gives you a complete easy way of understanding the process. What is the role? What is the difference?
Committee, right?
Pardon?
They're reporting to the audit committee, right?
Yes. Is it? Directly to the board. Okay, and yeah, good, audit committee. Okay, fine. Means what I want to say, that even CEO is not, CEO is also be under the scrutiny. Okay, CEO will be also under the scrutiny of the internal auditor. Fine. Next, compare and contrast between internal audit and external audit. What is the scope of internal audit? What internal audit are there? And definitely they will be, whenever there is scope, what are the limitations of internal auditor? Okay, it is appointed by the management. Okay, they are the employees. Okay, it is not like an external auditor. They are the employees of the organization. Okay, explain what is outsourcing, what are the advantages and disadvantages of outsourcing. Sometimes they will ask for 2 to 3 marks. If you refer the question papers, you will come across this. Okay, what is the nature and purpose of our assignments? Now they are said, you asked Mariam today, what is the value for money? Okay, value for money audit. Fine. When you are talking about this, they will ask most of the times. You will come across, if you take nowadays, now every year 4 exams, every 2 exams they will ask this. It's a very simple one. It's not difficult. Value for money is nothing but 3 E's. Is it right? 3 E's. It is economy. Is it right? It is economy. It is efficiency. It is efficiency, and it is effectiveness. Memorize this. Okay, memorize this. Fine. Easy. Now I will tell you how to score marks. That's very important. Okay. Now I'm going to shift my gear from the teaching mode to the examination mode. Fine. Everywhere, wherever it is there, I will focus the exam, because when you are doing this, not only we are covering the current topics, but also we cover the corporate governance little bit. Is that we'll cover the corporate governance little bit. We'll cover the ethical aspects little bit. Everything we are talking in terms of our back end, what we have learned previously, and discuss the nature and purpose of operational internal audit assignments. What is the purpose actually? See, when we are talking about internal audit, internal auditor will do everything. Is that every other thing, whatever controls, review controls, designing controls, operating controls, operational audit, everything, whatever is needed, internal. See, without internal audit signature, not a single paper will go through. I'm not saying internal auditor, at least internal audit department. Okay, internal audit department has to make things very, very clear. It has to go through that department. Explain the format and the content of reports, how they will do, and any appropriate recommendations to management, and charge with governance. Now you have these words are very clear. When you are writing the question, I want to see how you will write. Okay, now this is the next phase. I am putting the things. I want to see how you are presenting and how you are writing. The moment you will write and you will send me back individually. Okay, individually, I will give my suggestions separately after the class. In some cases, without specifically, I will give general instructions also how to write it. Fine. That is the next phase of transformation which you are going to do. Discuss the responsibilities of, what are the responsibilities of internal auditor and external auditor. Same thing in terms of prevention, detection of fraud and error. Exclusively, as simple as that, only and only internal audit. This is the only one chapter we are talking about internal audit, stand alone. Okay, internal auditor, stand alone the thing. What it says, see the thing. When you are talking about the internal audit, what they say, value for money audit. Okay, value for money audit. Immediately, economy, efficiency and effectiveness. Okay, economy, efficiency and effectiveness. Fine. You will have, they will do IT audit, they will do financial audit, operational audit, procurement audit. Everything is there, part of that. Is it right? Now, when you are talking about the internal audit, is one of the basic function of corporate governance. Corporate governance, if you are saying if you are discussing the concept of corporate governance, internal audit is part of that. Fine. What is the corporate governance, and how is the audit committee is related to internal audit? Fine. Audit committee. See, audit committee is the bridge between internal auditor and the board of directors, management. Okay. So audit committee will also oversee the things part and parcel at each and every stage, things are moving or not. Okay. And some way you will, when you are revising chapter 4, okay, when you are revising chapter 4, what are the functions of audit committee? In corporate governance, little bit focus on audit committee. Okay, we are doing this the way. Now, when we do the things, now it's simple, almost you have done. Okay, you are talking in terms of value for money audit, IT audit, financial audit, operational audit, and procurement audit, purchasing of anything. Is it right? They will put what they will do. Now you will see, understand controls. They will identify, design, and implement the controls. They review the controls also. Okay. Now, internal auditor is a appraisal or monitoring. Okay. You can take the easy word. Is a monitoring activity established by the management and directors. Okay. It is what they will do. They will monitor. Is that they will monitoring activity. Who is the charge with the governance? What they are doing for the review of internal controls. Is that they are basically they are working for internal controls as a service to the entity. It functions of what they will do. It will examine. Okay. It will evaluate. It will report. Is it? It will examine, it will evaluate, and it will report to management about the adequacy and effectiveness of internal controls. See, the external auditor will do effectiveness of internal controls. That is a separate job. Internal auditor will do it is their job. There are two different things. Okay, don't mix up what external and internal will do. This is the internal auditor. They will do. They will examine. Is it right? They will examine, they will evaluate, and they will report. To the adequacy, the requirements, and the most important effectiveness. Internal audit is the key element of effective corporate governance. Okay, internal audit is all we know. Is that? Remember, we have earlier highlighted the need for companies to have good systems of internal control in order to manage risk they face. Internal audit can play a key role in assessing and monitoring internal control policies. Fine. Now, just read within 1 minute. Just read from the beginning. Slowly on your own. Once it is done, tell me. Is it okay?
Yeah.
Fine. Next. What they say, now you don't have any issue. I can say I will be confident about yourself and can assist the board. What they will do, they act as a auditor. They are not auditors. They act as a auditors for board reports, not otherwise audited by external auditors. See, external auditors will not do everything. Is it right? External auditors have limited functions. limit, scope is limited, okay, even scope is limited, time is limited. What the internal auditors will do? Internal auditors will do all the things. Is that internal auditor to review other reports which has been not done by the external auditors. Being experts within the company, is that even if we are talking about internal auditors qualification is also have the chartered accountancy. Is it right? They are the chartered certified accountants in the field of auditing and accounting standards and implementation of new standards. When you are talking about the new standards, we are talking about IAS, we are talking about IFRS. Okay? Licensing, what internal auditors do? They will act as a focal point, licensing. Okay? They will act as with the management and the external auditors. Okay? Management, particularly when external auditors can use the work of internal audit and thereby reduce the length and cost of external audit. That's what we are saying, is that when as an auditor, tomorrow you will be an external auditor, okay? You will be an external auditor. You are going to a client place, okay? What you are doing, you see the environment, okay? You see the client's environment. You will see what are the control activities. Is that you will see the control activities. You will understand the environment. You will see what are the control activities. The moment you see that yes, control activities are very effective, automatically you will do some test of controls. Is that once you are doing test of controls on a sample basis, if that test of controls are effective, then automatically what will happen? Your reliance, reliability and confidence on the internal auditor work will increase. Okay, on the internal auditor work will increase. Means internal auditor will also has to do the work with same responsibility as the external auditor is doing. Only, okay, this is where it means external, you are making things easier for external audit. Now, an independent, what is the definition? An independence has to be there all the time. Even it is the internal auditors are appointed by the board of directors, by the management. Is that independent? You are talking about the objective assurance. What is the purpose of doing the job? You have not only that, you should be a consultant activity. Is that you always have, as an internal auditor, you have to add value and improve organization operations. Is that you have to add value. See, any employer has to add value to the work that has been assigned to the individual. As an internal auditor also should add value and improve operation performance. Helps organization in achieving objectives by a very systematic, disciplined approach. Understand? But now you can say it's the most important thing is we are streamlining the activities with the help of an internal auditor so that they can improve the effectiveness of the risk management, control, and more importantly, they are talking in terms of governance process. Again, I will say, I add, you also read. When I am reading, you will also read. And it should be independent, okay? It has to be independent. It has to be objective assurance. Is that we have to be of what we are doing, and you have to give assurance that things are reliable and relevant, true and fair. You should also be a consultant, okay? Why what you are doing? We are, as an internal auditor, you will add value and improve the operations. Is that you as an internal auditor, what you will do? You will be very, very systematic. Process. When we say systematic, we will follow the process. Is that we will follow the process and we follow the procedures. Fine, everything means see as simple as that. I will give a simple example. Any payment is there, you will see all the documents are there or not, supporting documents, sufficient and appropriate evidence is there or not to process any payments. That is the internal auditor will do. any resolutions passed, anything has been assigned to anyone, you will see what is the company structure, what is the manual, what manual will say is saying, and what there is a application. Anything you have to make changes, anything you have to make any corrections, definitely internal auditor will be part of this process. Fine, the part of this process. I am not saying anything here. Remember thing. I am not saying that remember, nothing is there. Understand what they are saying. Okay, you understand what they are saying. Three things are very important: memorize, understand, and remember. Fine. Now coming back to this, these are the difference between the internal auditor and an external auditor. Okay, how many things are there? You have exactly 5. Okay, you have exactly 1 2 3 4 5. Where is easy for you right now? I didn't say in the beginning these words. Now I am saying easy means it's easy. Is it? What is the purpose? They will add value and improve organization operations. Is it? They will add value. It is internal. Okay, they will do some changes which will make the difference. What the external auditor will do? They will only express an opinion on financial statements. When you are writing, when the exam question will come, you have to memorize these things. Okay, what the purpose, scope, relationship to the company, whom you are reporting, and what is the planning and collection of evidence. These 5 things you have to memorize: purpose, scope, relationship, reporting, and planning. What is the purpose? The purpose is, you can write this, you can write in your own words. You are adding value for improve organizational operation. What is the purpose of external auditor? The external auditors will express an opinion only on what? On financial statement. That's all. Is that this is the purpose? What is the scope? It relates to the operations. It relates to the entire thing of the organization. Operations, every other thing. You have done here. Is it that you have done in previous cases? What we have done? We are talking about value for money, IT audit, financial audit, operational audit, procurement audit, everything, whatever is assigned, they will do. Is it right? But with respect to external audit, it relates only to the financial statements and financial records. External auditor is restricted only to financial statements and financial records. What is the relation to the company? Often employees of the organization. Is it? Often employees of the organization. They are appointed by the organization. Sometimes they will outsource it. Is that? Sometimes they will outsource it. Is it? That is the sometimes. That is, don't take that as a one. Okay, sometimes they will outsource it. What is the role, what is the relationship of external auditors? External auditors have to be independent. Is it right? Have to be independent. External auditors appointed by whom? Appointed by the shareholders. Is it? Internal auditors appointed by the management. Often they are employees of the organization, mean they are appointed by the management, and sometimes they will be outsourced. Whereas external auditors have to be independent of the companies and its management, and they are exclusively appointed by the shareholders. Next, whom they are reporting? Internal auditor will report to the management and audit committee. Is that of management? Whereas external auditors address to whom they will address the reports? They will address the reports to the shareholders. Is it? They address the report to the shareholder. They will ask, is it? Now, what is the planning and evidence? There is no materiality concept, is not no material. Maybe procedures rather than risk based. I told you, process, they focus on process and procedures. Is that they focus on process and procedure. They will not talk about that much risk based. Here, whereas in terms of external auditor, materiality level. That they will immediately they say what is the materiality, performance materiality, overall materiality, and external audit work is based on risk based. Where there is a high risk, what we'll do? We increase the sample size, we increase the scope. Okay, we increase the scope. That is the reason. These are the 5 differences between internal auditor and external auditor. Read when you are revising it, just read one time more. Okay, one time more. Fine. Means if you are revising other things for 5 times, you read it for 6 times. Understand what? That is the simplest way of putting the things. One is purpose, scope, relationship, reporting, and collection of evidence. Is it? Now, are you clear about this?
Under planning and collection of evidence,
Huh.
no procedure rather than risk-based. What does this mean?
Maybe procedures means when procedures, what I said in terms of internal audit, the importance is given for process, the importance is given for procedures. What are the procedures? Any approvals are there, whether it has been done. See what happens before the things has been finalized, before it has been processed for payments, internal auditor will see whether all the documents has been supported, and internal auditor will verify the procedures, whether the procedures has been followed. Either the procedures has been followed means all the source document, stepwise procedures has been. You are talking in terms of inventory. Okay, you are talking about purchase of inventory, how the purchase of inventory procedures has been followed. Is that who has placed the order, who has given the request, who has placed the order, who has approved the order, is it who has sent the request, who has received the order, who has reviewed it. We are doing reconciliation. What is the role of internal auditor? Internal auditor will see that the reconciliation has been reviewed by a senior manager or not. Okay, procedures, if they are not risk based. Okay, risk based means what happens here in the external auditor, they will identify first. What will say? They say they will have a test of controls. Okay, once they have the test of control, then they will assess what is the risk. Based on the risk, the audit work will be done. Based on if you think that risk is high, then definitely you will add more efforts. Okay, you will take more planning will be there based on the risk with respect to the organization. Is that external auditors is based for the risk, because if the risk is high, materiality is high. Is that first they will come and they say that yes, materiality is 5%. Is that now they will say that yes, it is crossing 5%. Then what will means it is the risk is increasing. Definitely what we'll do in the second stage, they will increase the scope of the external audit work. Either they will increase the scope. The moment they are increasing the scope, they will increase the sample size. Not only sample size, is that scope means they will not only talk about purchases. Is that assume we are saying that we are taking the purchases into consideration. The moment you say that there is a materiality, there is some errors of fraud is there, automatically what we'll do, we will go back to what is the previous process, and we will also see what is the further process. We will see yes how the inventory is managed, how the purchase is managed, how the payments are managing. Is that the moment the risk is increasing, definitely what will happen, your scope of work will also increases. Whereas, again I am repeating, whereas internal auditor will implement the controls and implement once we are saying it is the implementing of internal controls. Internal controls are the procedures and processes that has to be followed in any transaction. Is it clear to you?
Yeah.
Fine. Is it okay?
Yes.
Now, internal auditors are not regulated in the same way of external auditor. Now you will say, okay, external auditors, people will say that you should have a professional qualification. Internal auditors, they prefer professional qualification. If see a bachelor's with accountant bachelor, is it a diploma holder with accounting and finance? Is it in some cases HR people also go in the any other stream? I will not say like that. Any other stream of qualifications can be work in the internal audit, but external auditor is not like that. Only the professionals has to be get involved in external auditor. There is no legal requirements associated with internal auditor. If there is no legal requirements with respect to internal auditor, it means for external auditors there is a legal requirement. For external auditors, there will be a legal. Scope and nature are usually set by company. Management will set what to do, what not to do, rather than the external guidelines. You don't have any. We are not following ISA, all those things. Okay, we are not following internal auditors. They don't have the imposition of ISA, all those things. Although Institute of Internal Auditors does issue standards for the professional practices. Now, what happening? If you are talking about internal auditors, you have another professional course is there, certified internal auditor. Is that you have another professional course is there. Now people are very much focusing on that. Because it is very much mandatory for the companies to have an internal auditor in the system, in the organization. People say that yes, if you want to have major companies, big companies, multinational companies, they say that with the head of the internal auditor will have a qualification of CIA. Internal auditors are not required to be members of professional bodies. Optional. Don't say that are not required. It is that it is only an optional. There is no compulsion. Okay, there is no compulsion. Sometimes by seniority you will become an internal auditor. Is that you are working for the internal audit department for 10 years, 12 years. People are there, very simple. Now you are asking in most of the cases which I come across, why you are doing? They are saying that we are working in an internal audit department. That's why we want to do this ACCA qualification. Is it? They already been placed in internal audit department. Okay, fine. Now this is what they are going to. Key role. What are the roles of internal audit? Is it to ensure that company risk management systems operates effectively. Is that to make sure that the systems are operating effectively, as simple as that. The systems within the organization has operating effectively. In other words, the controls. To ensure that strategies implemented in business risk are operate effectively. Now you see the things. Internal auditor talks about business risk and external auditor talks about audit risk. Is it business risk? See, if you are not following the process, if you are not following the procedures, if you are not following the policy of the company, it will affect the reputation of the company. Understand point? It will affect the reputation of the company. Make it again say, You will have the policies of the company. Is it right? You have to follow procedures. Is it right? You have to follow process. Why we are doing? We are doing this to only to create a brand name for the company. Is that you have to create a goodwill for the company. What the internal auditor will do? Internal auditor will do that whether you are following the rules set by the management. Fine. Automatically, when you have the goodwill, it will definitely, the business risk will be less. Is it? You have a good goodwill, you have business. If you are not following the procedures, automatically what will happen? The business risk will be more. This is one of the basic differentiation between external audit and internal audit. External auditor audit risk, internal auditor business risk. Fine. Now they are saying this is the examination question. Okay, they are saying the difference between internal audit and external. They gave you 4 marks. Marks are important now. From now onwards, I am saying marks. It is your own judgment. It is understanding. This is the advantage we will have when we will revise the exam-based questions, exam previous question papers. When we revise previous question papers, we have to make sure if 4 marks are there, even it has been mentioned 5 marks, we have to write 4 only. Either don't be excited and say that yes, we will write 5. Nothing will happen. See, this is the message what they are giving. Okay. Now the same thing. I am not going to repeat this. Is that you are talking in terms of the purpose. You are talking in terms of scope, relationship, and reporting. You are not talking about the evidence as such. Okay. Last one. These are the simple things. Purpose is you are talking improve organization efficient operations, improve the add value to the organization operations. Opinion about financial statements. Scope, it is within a wide range within the organization. Okay, operations of the organization within the operations of the organization. It is work is limited, whereas external auditor work is limited to the financial statements and financial records only. They are the employees of the organization. They are appointed by the shareholders. You can write this much. I am giving you that much message. Is that internal auditors are appointed by the management. External auditors are appointed by the shareholders. The internal auditors will report to the audit committee and with the senior management and audit committee. External auditors will address the reports to the shareholders. Internal auditor reports are for the management only. External auditors reports is published in the, it is accessible by the everyone in the public domain. Is it? You can frame the, what I want to say that you can frame your answer within the basic understanding. Don't change the meaning. Okay? Don't change the meaning. That's very important. Is that don't change the meaning and don't add more word. The moment you have to see, I will say relationship to the company appointed by the management or employees of the organization. Done. Appointed by the shareholders independent of the company's management. Here we are not talking about the how you are structuring the sentence. We want to structure in the best way, no doubt on that. I am not saying that you compromise on the quality of the English, but when your message is more important, language is, audit language is important than anything else. Okay, this is for how many marks? 4 marks. Make it a point. I am putting this again. It is in purple color. I will give four things in purple in this chapter. Focus on that. Things will be very, very easy. Is it right? This is the business risk. They will not ask that much. Okay, business risk. Fine. You should understand. I thought of removing this slide, then I said no, I should tell. Is that what happens if is the result of significant conditions, events, circumstances, or inactions. Your management is not very effective. Definitely what will happen? It affects the business process. Why internal auditor is placed? They want to see that how things, any marketing campaign, they will see whether marketing campaign is run as per the requirements, ethical aspect, social aspect, financial aspects, everything, advertising, marketing, quality, is that procurement, is that talking about the clients, sales, credit limits. You take anything, you take suppliers list, approved suppliers, you take anything in the organization, is that internal auditors will have a close watch on that, is that, or could adversely affect the entity's ability. Okay, if you are not working on this, it will affect the entity's ability to achieve the objectives and strategies. Is that is the reason internal auditor will work. Is that what is the business risk cannot be eliminated. No risk can be eliminated. Take it a point. You cannot say that I have appointed internal auditor and the risk will be zero. No. Is that risk will be there. Risk cannot be zero. Only thing is I used to tell this. Okay, risk is only we can minimize the risk. Is it right? We can minimize the risk. We can nobody says that yes we can make risk zero. Is that we cannot make risk zero. Risk will be there. Now you cannot say how much I want to minimize. We are not talking about the percentage here. We are talking about that the role of the manager is to minimize the risk as much as possible. Business risk will be there, is it right? We cannot eliminate. Any risk will be there. Design, what the internal auditor will do? Internal auditor will design and operate internal controls. Is that he will design and operate internal controls as part of company's risk management strategy. Internal controls can help to mitigate the business risk. What internal controls? Definitely it will help to reduce. It will help to reduce the business risk by the company. Fine. In turn, internal auditor has the key role of what internal auditor will do. Internal auditor will monitor. Is that review? Is that internal monitor will monitor, review. They will assess whether controls are in place or not. Anything process is happening. Is that any process is happening? You have 4 different stages. First stage, second stage, third stage, and fourth stage. It will go to the internal auditor will only see whether the things has been gone through from one stage to another stage. That's all. If things are doing, means everybody is doing their job. Okay. They are talking about internal controls, and they are establishing established by whom? Established by the management. On behalf of the management, internal auditors will work. Okay, on behalf of the management. Management appoints internal auditor for this purpose only, to ensure that the objectives and operate effectively order. Therefore, underline this. Internal auditor has a key role in the management of business risk. There will be one question will be there. You will come across some few questions. Okay, they will ask whether it is a business risk or it is a audit risk. Or specifically they will say which 2 of the following are the business risk. Is that which 2 of the following are business risk as such? Okay. Now they have mentioned here what are the first elements of business risk. You have a financial risk. Is that arising from financial activities or consequence of the operation? Is the financial risk. You are not scrutinizing the financial transactions effectively. Definitely It will read to finance. Your payments are there, your receipts are there, discounts are there. Even discounts are there. You should know whether it is approved or not. You are selling. Okay, when you are selling, most of the time you will have a credit sales. Definitely, what you will do, you have to know that whether it has been the to whom we are supplying or have the in the approved list or not. The credit limits has been approved or not. Is right? The credit limits. Whether we are selling within the credit limits, we are not crossing. Is right? We are not crossing the credit limits. The credit limits are within the sales has been done within the credit limits. We are reviewing. What we'll do, we will review the credit history every 3 months. Now, what happens whenever we are talking in the previous cases, we will say that it has to be reviewed by a senior management. Is that we are doing what we are used to say, that a reconciliation done by the senior management. We are not using the word internal auditors, okay? But one of the element of senior management is the internal auditors. We never use internal auditors, but internal auditors will review the things on behalf of senior management. Understand? But internal auditors will review on behalf of the senior management at the appropriate level. Is that you will not only have a financial risk, you will have an operational risk, entities operations. Is that most of the time they will give an example of food based scenario. Okay, food based scenario, something with respect to health and hygienic conditions. Is that in the section B? Then we'll say that yes, it is a operational risk. Operational risk also talks about what? Operational risk also talks about the segregation of duties. Okay, so they also talk about segregation of the duties. The duties has to be separated, otherwise it is going to be collided. Then there will be a chance of fraud or error. Internal auditor, now you see every other company will have compliance department. You have to follow the regulations. You have to follow the regulations of the government. For banking industry, the regulation. Banking industry regulations by the central bank. Banking industry regulations by the government. Banking industry regulations by the international bodies. You have those regulations we have to follow. Okay, those regulations we have to follow. Compliance department. Towards the customers, towards the products, towards the services, towards other clients, towards the competitors, towards the government. Whatever their regulations are there, we have to follow. We are not going into detail. What are the 3 types of business risk? Remember this: financial risk, operational risk, compliance risk. Audit risk have 3 different elements. Is that inherent risk, control risk, and detection risk? Is that in audit risk will be more focused. If you ask me, I am telling very openly. If you ask me, the weightage will be given for the audit risk, less. Don't say that I'm saying no. Weightage will be less given for business. Means questions will be more towards audit risk. Will be there. On audit risk you will get questions, but proportionately business risk you will get less number of questions. What are the business risk factors? New competitors, emergence of new competitors. Internal auditor will oversee what's happening in the market or not. Your internal audit will see about foreign exchange rates. Where we have to make changes, in which currency we have to deal with. Internal auditor will talk about what are the business risks in terms of laws on regulations. So if you are not following rules and regulations, it will affect the business prospects. It talks about business in terms of raw material prices are increasing. What are the alternatives? Is that this is the business here? Raw material prices increases, final selling, the selling price will also increases. Internal auditor will assist. Understand point? Internal auditor will assist the management in conducting the business. If it is a loss, why loss of major customer or supplier? It's a risk. Getting my point? It is a risk. If a loss of major customer is leaving us, it impacts our business. Okay, and it not only it implies on the business, it also implies on a going concern. ISA 570. Going concern, we are going to cover this in the chapter 11. Chapter 11, another important area of examining. Okay, going concern. What are the business risks? Business risks, see, you have fall in demand, economic downturn. See, during recession, is it during recession? What will happen? The entire your sales will get affected. Okay, sometimes technological obsolescence, outdated. Now you see the things. People are talking about AI. People are talking about data analytics. Okay, people are talking about data science. Is it? People are talking about data science. Now all these things are we are going forward. Most of the time, whatever we are doing, people will say, what is the requirement of next generation? You will update. If you don't, you are not updating according to the competitors, what will happen? Definitely we will not survive in the market. So if there is a political unrest, if there is a political unrest, in some countries it happens, very simple. Political unrest is there, political stability is not there. If you take, I don't want to name the countries, but if you take the countries, you have in your mind that there is a stability is not there. Is that people will come, people will go, confidence, is that what will happen? Immediately the investors, is that the investors' confidence will not be there. See, nobody wants to invest money to lose. They want to, they will invest to add value to the organization. Is that this is a business risk, and most of the time natural disasters. People will think, okay, people will think, yes, natural disaster recently happened in one of the countries. Okay, it happened. People will think, yes, is it feasible to invest? Because what happens after natural disaster, recovery will be very late. As a matter of fact, it will take lot of time to recover. Is it right? It will take, and again the investors confidence will get lost. Okay, people will think twice that whether I should invest or not. Is it? That is the why we are talking about natural disasters. Is it? Anything, terrorism activity will be there. With respect to the natural impact will be there. Earthquakes will be there. People will see all the factors so that our business risk should not reduce. These are the elements of the business risk: financial risk, operational risk, compliance risk. Okay, and these are the examples. Fine. Are you clear about this?
Yeah.
Right. Now, what is the role of responsibility of internal audit? Two
Question,
words.
please.
Yes, tell me, please.
What's the difference between business risk and inherent risk?
Totally different. Totally different. Is it? Inherent risk. Inherent risk. Now you are asking.
Yeah.
Totally different. Where we have studied inherent risk, which chapter?
5.
5? What is inherent risk here? I am referring chapter 5, okay? I am referring chapter 5. See the thing. It is the successfulity of the balance to misstatements before consideration of controls. You don't have controls, is it? If you have controls, definitely there will be some you can prevent, is it? You don't have control. When you don't have controls, in that situation, it is a inherent risk. They gave the example. It is a volatile industry engaging in foreign transactions, rapidly changing. See the thing. Now, if you take that much into consideration, see the rapid changing of technology. There we are talking about business risk, technology obsolescence. Is that technology obsolescence? Technology obsolescence. If you are not updating the technology, what will happen? It is going to have impact on the business. If you are not updating the technology, is it right? Definitely, what can we detect? Can we detect any ineffective controls? Can we say that controls will be effective? No. The moment you want to, there is a technology obsolescence, you have to move. We have to move to the new technology.
So we can control it.
Pardon?
The inherent risk. We can control inherent risk.
Yes. Is that if?
What about business risk? Can we control it?
Pardon?
What about business risk? Can we control it?
Business risk is, if we don't do, we will lose our market business. Okay, if you technology obsolescence, technology, if you are not moving, see what's happened. Take as a matter of fact, you take in terms of ATM, CDMs, all these things. Okay, immediately what happening? One bank is doing, other banks will also do the same thing. Okay, immediately what they are doing, they will come with a technology. They will replace the technology. Fine. Only replacing technology is not the ultimate objective. Is it right? Replacing technologies are not when you are replacing the technology, you should have that controls which is going to make the technology effective also. Just if you are not replacing the technology, if you are not changing, then it is a business risk. Okay, separately. Now, but if you are replacing the technology or not, but the technology we are not putting any controls, then there is an inherent risk. Is that? Then there is an inherent risk. Okay. When you are replacing the technology, what you will do? You will take some controls. You will say, now you see the thing. What is the controls? You are making they will ask you to change your password. Okay, the PIN. Is it? They ask you to change your PIN. They are asking you to change your password. That is the control risk. If you don't have, you take the different banks. Okay, you take the different banks. Some banks have very specific rules are there. What the rules are there? Every bank is implementing this technology. But some banks say that you have to replace the password, change the password every 3 months, 6 months. KYC, know your customer. Some banks are very particular, know your customer. If they say that you have to make sure that you should have a KYC every 1 year, every 2 years. Some banks are not particular. Is it? Means from the external point of view, the technology replacement is a business risk. From internal point of view, it is an inherent risk. If you are introducing the technology without controls, then it is a inherent risk. It means you should not only introduce the technology, but also you have to make technology more effective. Are you clear about this?
Yeah.
Again, I'm complete. This is the advantage what we are doing. We are saying that foreign exchange transactions. Is that we have to make sure that which currency we are talking. We have to see what are the foreign currency movements are there. With which country we are making the foreign transactions in which currency. Now, what will happen when that is one thing. The second inherent risk is that engaging in foreign transactions. With whom we have to engage. Which currency we are engaging is a business risk. With whom you are dealing, with which country, with which company you are dealing is an inherent risk. Means if you are dealing with the country also, you should not only know the currency, but also you should know the who is your client. Is that who is your supplier? Is that from whom you are purchasing or whom you are selling? Is that when you are selling the what we have learned that whenever there is a receivables, whenever receivables you should have controls. Okay, receivables you should have a supplier list. You have an approved supplier list. That is the inherent risk. Accessing the data file, it is an inherent risk. Is that accessing the data file is a master file is an inherent risk. You don't have controls. Definitely, everybody can update. Everyone can access the source or master file. Is that I will say the broader perspective. I am writing this. Okay, the broader perspective is the business risk. Is that the broader? The internal perspective is the audit risk. Inherent risk. Is it clear to you?
Yeah.
Right? This is what it says. Responsibility for fraud. You ask me now. The moment you ask questions, I am telling to all three. The moment you ask questions, we will have immediately. I will go to the chapter which we have related, and I will give reference for that. Responsibility. Fraud is a key business risk. Okay. Fraud is the key business risk faced by the company. But who is responsible for preventing? It is not the responsibility of external auditors. External auditors will never think about all these things. It is the responsibility of the directors. It is the responsibility of the director. Therefore, an internal auditor will be appointed by the directors. May therefore have the role in prevention. Internal audit have in prevention of detection of fraud. Directors will appoint internal auditors. Okay, and internal auditors on behalf of the directors, they will take care of prevention and detection of fraud by implementing controls and effectiveness of the controls. Is it okay?
So even auditors, they are not responsible for detecting risk, right?
No.
They are responsible for detecting material misstatements.
Material misstatements. Okay, they are talking only about the material misstatements and financial statements, financial records. They are not talking about anything with respect to operational activities. Is it? They are not talking. These are related to operational activities. If external auditors will identify or detect any fraud, they will report to the management. Is it? If they find any fraud, error, anything, their job is they will report to the management and they will give an opinion. Is it clear to you?
Yeah.
Fine. Is it okay?
Yes.
What are the limitations of internal auditor? they are employed by the organization, so they are less independent. We think, is it right? We think they are less because it is appointed by the management, they work under the management, but in actual practice it is not so. Okay, in books it has been written like this. Okay, but in actual fact internal auditors are more people, really have a more. If you take your own organization, if say some query comes from the internal auditor, we have to respond it immediately and perfectly. Okay, example, they will report an error if doing so might threaten their continued employment in the company. This is only one of the reasons. Okay, don't take it as a blanket rule. Okay, don't take it as a blanket rule. They may not be dual reporting relationships. Is it? That is management and those charged with governance in place. Okay, they may not be a dual reporting relationship in place. Means they have to report either to the management or to the charge with governance. That is the reason. What has been, they will make it happen. There is no CEOs. The internal auditor is directly under the preview of the audit committee, and it will be reported to the board. They will override the CEO position also. No professional qualification required. So they may be, they are not professionals, is it right? They don't have that much technical knowledge. There is no precondition to appoint an internal auditor with professional qualifications simply. Is it? But people will prefer, to appoint, most of the companies say that we want the person who is professionally qualified. They will not compromise on that issue. Is it okay?
Yeah.
Fine? No. It's not difficult, okay? It's not difficult at all. From 92 to 2000, we have done this in the previous case also, WorldCom, including the CEO and CFO use fraudulent accounting methods to declining earnings in order to maintain the share. The fraud was deferred by a small group of internal auditors who secretly uncovered 3.8 million worth of fraud. The fraud was reported to the audit committee with the serious consequences for both those involved and the company. Means now you see the thing, how internal auditors are having the command, having the influence over the reporting systems. Is it? They secretly uncovered 3.8 million. It's not millions, it is billions. This is one of the reasons. Whenever we read, you just go through the scandal that happens with WorldCom, you will understand. It is one of the best examples of financial reporting and audit. Okay, we will cover multiple stages. Okay, in the examinations also, they have removed this name, okay, indirectly, but these frauds they have incorporated in some cases. I will tell you in 3 or 4 questions. I will tell that this is similar to WorldCom or such. Okay, this is the real-time example. The fraud was covered by a small group of internal. Means internal auditors should also be. You have to be effective. We cannot take them as granted. Okay, are you clear about this? Next, right? Now we are coming for this. Is it value for money audit? This will also be there for 3 to 4 marks. Very, very simple. See, I am giving you very, very clear message to you. Okay, the difference between internal auditor and external auditor. One question: value for money audit. Is it right? We talk, when we say value for money audit, 3 E's. Okay, 3 E's. Remember this: economy, efficiency and effectiveness. Why we appoint internal auditors? Is that what is the why we appoint internal auditors as such? Okay, everyone will see while appointing internal auditors, effectiveness will increase. Is it? See, if you do errors, if error will happen, the loss will be more, the business risk will be more. Is it right? You will lose lot of business. Is it right? Assume that you are using a business of 1 million. But if you have internal audit in place, you are giving a 500,000 to him. I'm just giving an example. Is that you will establish an internal audit department comprehensively all through the organization, and the cost of that department will be 500,000 in a year. Is that you will see what is the cost and benefit. Okay, you will see what is the cost and benefit as such. Is it fine? So that is what it says. Economy, efficiency and effectiveness of activities and projects. Value for money audit, VFM, is that mainly carried out mainly in not for profit organizations, where we are using value for money audit, not for profit organization, in terms of charities, in terms of local authorities, in terms of hospitals. Very important. Where we are using value for money audit in terms of not for profit organization. Value for money audit, value for money cannot be judged by how to present methods of operation, how to use the resources, and how to compare to alternatives. Again, read this one. Immediately now I will say, read. 1 minute, take it and read.
So why it's not used for non-profit organizations?
No. Why we are not using for profit or organization? Profit for organization, external audit we will use. Is it? For profit and organization, external audit. Now value for money audit. Value for means economy. See, when we are talking about charities, when we are talking about local authorities, when we are talking about the hospitals, is it? They have a limited budgets. They have the limited resources. They have to work out within the resources. And most of the time, what will happen in value for money audit? What are the methods? How you are using your resources? Is that how we are using? The moment we say value for money, it means it is the low cost. Is that it means a low cost? Is that we are talking about what are the inputs and what are the see the value for money audit we are not thinking about in profit organization. We don't want to reduce the spending. Okay, if there is a feasibility, if there is a benefit, profit for organizations will spend, but not for profit organizations. They have limited resources. Their objective is to make a service. Their objective is not to make the profit. If that is the case, they will not spend on the other factors, but they will spend on the core objectives, and they will reduce the spending on some additional activities. Okay, now when we do the things, what is more important? They are not working for their profit motive. There is no matching concept. Is it right? There is no purpose behind to earn the profits. How to conserve the financial resources is very important. How to conserve the financial resources is very important with respect to not-for-profit organization. Within the limited resources, it has to be effective as efficient. Within the limited resources, got my point? We have not only we have to deliver to the maximum extent, but we have to deliver precise with result oriented. We should also see, we have to see the results, and we have used the targets also. That is what we are talking about, effectiveness and efficiency. But again, I will add this. Okay, I will add this. In every case, if in every case people are concerned about value for money audit, we are also, don't think that profit organizations are nowadays, in profit organizations also people are thinking about economy. People are talking about efficiency. If you take the profit-based companies, all profit-based companies, we are not going to say that yes, we are not thinking about economy. People will think economy. People will think about effectiveness. Management will think about efficiency also. But value for money audit has been initiated, especially it came through in existence with respect to not-for-profit organizations. There is no hard and fast rule that we are not, profit organizations should not use this. Is it? As a matter of fact, if you ask me, my observation says that profit organizations will use more rather than not-for-profit organizations. Not-for-profit organization, we have limited exposure of understanding. Understand this point also. Is that not-for-profit organization, charities, how many people are employed in charities? How many charities are there in the country? Very few. If you have 1,000 companies, you will have 100 charities. Is that? You have 100 charities. If you take trusts also, is it right? If you take charitable trust also, throughout the country, maximum you will come across 100. But if you take the companies, you will have 1,000 SAOG companies will be there. Is it? 1,000 SAOG companies are. And in companies, they are more usable. Is that? The companies are more particular about VFM. Okay? Companies, profit-making companies are more particular about VFMs. But it is not going to be reflected on the face value of the system as such. Is it okay?
Yeah.
Fine. Now, economy is the lowest cost. Okay. Remember this. Remember this. When you are coming across a question for this, you have to write value of money or examines efficiency, effectiveness, and economy, efficiency, and effectiveness. Value of money audit carried for not-for-profit organizations. Second point. Okay. Value of money. Then you take economy. We are talking about the appropriate quantity and quality of physical, human, and financial resources at lowest cost. Third point. Is it right? The relationship between goods and services. What are the inputs and what are the outputs? Output, that the resources used to produce them. The relationship between the inputs and outputs is efficiency. Fourth point. Okay. Fifth point, how well the activity is achieving its policy other than intended effects. How it is going to reach to the ultimate customer. That is the effectiveness. Fine. You have to make it a point. You have to have a 5 points. Write down, if you are writing your notes, write down in your notes. First you write value for money audit examines efficiency, effectiveness and economy, efficiency and effectiveness. Value for money audit, this much. Why I am revising is you should memorize this. It is used for non-profit organizations. Example, charity, hospital, local authorities. We are talking next, economy, attaining the appropriate quantity and quality with the minimum inputs. Is it at the lowest cost? Is it at the lowest cost? Okay? Economy, see, again, economy does not simply means obtaining the lowest cost. It's not like that. When you are buying any equipment, you should not compromise. Okay, you should not compromise on the lowest cost. Is that anything you are buying, you should not say that I will pay the least price. No, you have to see whether least price is justifiable or not. Then only you have to. In hospitals, you cannot say that I will buy a least price equipment. In charities, you cannot say that I will distribute food with a low quality. Understand point? Very simple. I am telling you. Is that I will distribute food with a low quality. No, quality is important. Fine. Use of resources in government, in local authorities. Is that municipality, wherever, in whichever country it is there. Is that whichever? They cannot say that yes, we will compromise on the quality. They will provide the quality is the major factor, but we should not compromise cost based on the quality. Is that? That is what we are talking in terms of the things. Is that? Next, efficiency again. Efficient operation produce the maximum output possible. Is it with a given set of resource inputs? Is that you should have a less wastage? Is that you have the minimum wastage should be there? That is what we are talking about, the efficiency. Effectiveness, how well it is going to reach the intended effect, how we are going to achieve our goals. 5 points, is it right? Difference between internal audit and external audit, 5 points. Value for money audit, 5 points. Is it okay with this? Are you clear?
Yeah.
Gaita, Laila and Mariam. Fine? Slowly, okay? Slow. In not-for-profit organizations, output does not have a market value. You have studied not-for-profit organization. This one module was there, especially on this. Is it? What they say, it is when you are doing it is what doesn't have a market for the output, which make difficult to measure the means market value is not there. How much you are giving, how much you are not giving. You are not going to say that in not-for-profit organization we are not selling, we are not determining any selling price. Is it right? There is no selling price as such. Is it right? So it is difficult to measure efficiency. That is, fire brigade which puts out one big fire more or less efficient. That one put all 3 small fires. Is that fire brigade means the people who will take care of uneven any unhappening is happening. Is it right? Then what they will do? They want to have efficiency. How quickly you are doing. Is that how quickly you are doing? That's very important. Is that how objectives is defined in not-for-profit organization? In some cases, if you refer question papers, in question papers they will give some examples on charities, charitable organization. Is that charitable organization? We'll come across at least 2-3 questions before we are completing our course. Is that on charitable organization? whenever we come across a question on charitable organization, we have to give reference to value for money audit. With reference to VFM, we have to address the question. Okay? Sacrifice of what? Economy and efficiency could be achieved. Is it right? Economy and efficiency could be achieved by sacrificing the quality. See the things. These are the problems. Okay? These are the problems with value for money audit. Is it? These are the problems. First one is doesn't have any market value. How the objective defined in NVP organizations have different objectives. Every charity organization will have different objectives. There is a problem with respect to sacrifice of quality. We cannot have a uniform standards as such. Overemphasis on cost control. Always see charity organizations have a less resources. Is it right? Charity organizations comes through donations. Is it? Charity organizations comes through membership fee. Is it? Membership fee. Always they will have a shortage of funds. Is it? What are the problems? Because of shortage of funds, they will focus on cost control. They focus on cost control. Measuring FA. Hospitals are more successful treating illness, life expectancy increases. But this means that population may also increase, leading to overcrowding of hospitals. Is it? They are giving an example, very, I can say very strange example. What happens? They say that if you have a good hospitals, is that if you have a good hospitals, what will happen? Value for money audit. They say that yes, we are talking about economy, efficiency and effectiveness. If you have good hospital, life expectancy will increase. If the life expectancy will increase, people think, okay, it is not. They think that it means that the population will also increases. Is it right? And automatically what will happen? Population increases, more number of people will come to the hospitals and for other services. Is it? They will not ask you this. Again I am saying, is it? Problems for a VFM hardly will come across in any question paper till now. But VFM concept you will come across. Is it? This is the first one. Is that VFM, value for money audit? Are you clear about this?
Yeah.
Fine. Next. Coming back to the next one, IT audit. We have made it. See the thing. What we have made. We have done. I think we have done or we will do. Okay. Computer assisted audit techniques. Is that computer assisted audit? We are talking about the IT controls. Is that we have a general controls are there. We have IT controls are there. Is it right? Now, what happens? Every company, every organization will have IT department. Okay, every organization will most likely need to have a IT specialist in the internal audit team. When you are talking about the internal audit, they should have they should have IT specialist to undertake the thing. Now, we have another course. As a matter of fact, is it right? People will do the certified information and systems auditor. Is that you have another professional certification as there? Is it right? Certified information and systems audit. Yeah, they will do the audit only on IT audit only, because most of the organizations have been transformed into a technological platform. When you have transferred to technological platform, it will be. And nowadays, the moment you join any audit firm, they will give training with respect to IT audit. During COVID also, most of the companies have done online audit. Is it? Now you have everything online. You can submit your financial reports online. You can submit your tax returns online. You can, people are doing audit on online only. Is it? Now when you are doing the things, what are the test of controls? Keep this, remember this, okay? Remember this. We are not going to do that much in detail, okay? And it is a very technical subject also, not related to finance. When you are talking about the is that you have DBMS, database management systems. Is it right? You have a database DBMS. Is it? You have a systems process. How we are developing the system. You should have an audit trail. Okay. You should have an audit how it is doing. Test of data, test of data. Each and everything you should be very specific of that. We cannot ignore this process. Is it right? How we are solving the problems. Is it right? How you are solving the problem. Sometimes you will have online support will be there. Is it right? Most of the time you will have a online support will be there. Now we are not talking about that we will solve problem within 24 hours. That phase has been gone. Okay, now everything will be done through online. 24 hours these people will work all over the world, wherever it is there. Fine. You are talking about change management, changing the systems from manual to an IT. Okay, financial systems. Getting upon financial statements very clearly. I am not talking about anything else. You are migrating from a manual system to a IT system with respect to financial statements, your financial records, how it has to be done. You are talking in terms of networks, connectivity. You are talking about the assets management. Fine. Assets management with respect to the hardware, with respect to the assets of the company as such. Is it? You are talking, I told you just now, you have a desktop audit. Is that? You have a desktop audit. These are the new things that came into picture very recently. Is it right? Previously it was not there. Means you are sitting at your you are sitting at your place and you are working remotely. Is it? You are talking about the Alhamdulillah. Capacity management. You have some access controls, you have some operation systems, and most importantly, you are talking in terms of e-business. Is it? E-business. Now you see the things. All the things, we are making payments, we are receiving payments, we are ordering, everything is, initially we have B2B, is it? Then we have C2B, customer to B2C, is it? We have B2C, then we have customer to customer. Nothing is there. We have Amazon is what? Amazon is only a customer to customer, that's all. Who is buying, who is selling? You are creating only a network. But how strong they are, is it? Nowadays, people are saying that it is the government to customer also. All the government process, payments is done online. All the government, you see, you want to pay fees, you have anything is there, it's a online. This is where the concept of IT audit comes into picture. Is it? For this process, they say that in the internal audit team, there should be a person who have a good, well knowledge about IT systems as such. Fine. Next, second one, you have financial audits. The importance, what is the financial audit? The preventing of financial reporting errors. What we are doing, what a finance person will do, is that almost, see, we are not making, we are what, two things are there. We are talking in terms of preventing. The importance of controls, how effective are controls in preventing the errors. We also, the internal auditor will also review certain areas on a regular basis to ensure that controls remain in place. Internal audit function often adopts a cyclical approach. They will say that every 3 months. Is that they will have a timeline, okay? They have a timeline. As per the timeline, they will review the things every 3 months. Is that they will review the every 3 months whether things are. That is the reason. If you remember in one of the questions, what we have done in one of the questions, in one of the scenarios, we are talking about the credit limits of the clients to whom we are supplying, whom we are selling. Is that whom we are selling? When we are in terms of what, where we have received, where we have discussed this in terms of receivables. They say that the credit limit should be reviewed periodically. Is that reviewed periodically? They say very clearly every 3 months. Fine. It has been there. We have said it has to be reviewed by the senior management. Is that on behalf of the senior management? Who is the part of senior management in this context? Internal auditors. Fine. Now you see the thing. When we are referring the scenario, we are referring with relation to the theoretical concept. Now, the moment we are reviewing the questions, again I will relate the theory there and relate the examples wherever it is applicable. See the thing. What are the financial audits? We will do this. We will do this in chapter 10. Okay. We are talking about. We have done. Is that controls and test of controls. Okay. This we have done in chapter 8. Okay. Now in chapter 10 we will do the substantive procedures. Fine. We will do the substantive procedures. Okay. Chapter 10 is little bit 20 marks. Okay. I will say chapter 10 is 20 marks. Fine. You have more 6 or 7 different topics are there. What is the financial audit? You are talking about review and revenue and cash collections, order processing. Keep this in mind. These are the inputs for the next chapter. Understand my point? These are the inputs for the next chapter. When in next chapter, substantive procedures for cash, substantive procedures for revenue, substantive procedures for non-current assets, substantive procedures for payrolls. Okay, you will come across these things exclusively in the next chapter. Okay, acquisitions. You are talking about the inventory. Is that you are talking about the capital and payments. Fine. This is not that much. Okay, but what are the things you will cover? I will tell you. You will, in terms of sales and cash. Is it right? In terms of payroll, substantive procedure for payroll, substantive procedures for inventory. Is it right? Substantive procedure for financial reporting overall. Okay, and this much is little bit less. Okay, these things will be there in substantive procedures with respect to non-current assets also. See the thing: receipts, liabilities, cash expenses, expenditure, and accrued expenses. These are the inputs for the next lecture, which is almost, I'm keeping it very clearly, I'm stressing it out, 20 marks, exclusively 20 marks on this. Fine. These are the things what we are doing. We are talking about how we have order processing. We have done in respect of purchases, sales. Is it in purchases and sales? order processing, recording of sales, billing process. We are not that much in detail, but we have an overview with reference to control objectives, controls, and test of controls. Right? I'm not focusing that much here, okay, because I will take the same thing in terms of acquisitions and expenditure, how we are thinking in terms of purchase orders. Is that in terms of inventory planning? Inventory substantive procedures, inventory is a sure question. Okay, sure question on the inventory they will give. Is it right? With respect to the payroll, how we are processing the payroll, how the controls are there in the payroll, we have done in the previous chapter payrolls. Is that focus this when you are revising? I am telling you this, when you are revising, you revise on controls, objective, controls and test of control, payroll with respect to inventory, with respect to sales, and with respect to cash and bank. Nothing is there. These areas, if you cover, almost you are covering 60 to 70 marks. Almost we are have our hands on this subject topics. Fine. Now, are you clear about this financial audit? I'm just giving you a introduction. That's all on this. Fine. What we have done a VFM, value for money audit. We have done IT audit. We have done financial audit, and we have done compliance. Is that companies have to follow the rules and regulations that has been framed by the government, some more than others, depending on the type of business being carried out. Is that what the internal auditors will do? Internal auditors might be used to review compliance with these laws and regulations. Is that what are the where we are doing compliance audit? Compliance audit they will do in the tax law. Is that submission of tax? Is that returns? Is that you are talking about tax returns? We have to follow that. Compliance audit with respect to health and safety legislations. I told you just now, they will give you some questions. Some questions are there on the related to food scenarios. Okay, food processing, food retail stores. On that, they will have so many questions are there. Regulation compliance audit with respect to your employment law. Fine. Now, are you clear about this? We are talking about how much we have done. Again, I will go to the first one where we have done this. Is it right? IT, VFM, financial audit, they have mentioned here operational and procurement audits. Okay. Is it okay now? Can I stop?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, see the thing.